Guys, while we pretty much homeschool year-round, we still do have an official start date, which is typically after Labor Day, and we try to finish up around Memorial Day or someplace close to that. But I really like the idea of being able to homeschool year-round. I feel it's important to keep your brain tuned up, ready to go, and always learning. And let's face it, we are learning all day, every day. So why stop just because summer is here? And also, life happens. And part of the freedom in homeschooling is that we can take a break from school, so to speak, to deal with whatever it is that's happening in our life. So again, we pretty much learn year-round, but we do have kind of an official school year. So, having said all of that, we are very close to the official end of the school year. Nonetheless, I thought I would take a few minutes and share some of the things that have helped make this year easier. And I say this year because it changes every single year. I find things that work better for one child or another, or things that work better for me. Also, we moved about a year ago. And, you know, when you're in a new home, you're not necessarily going to be able to set things up the same way. We don't have a designated school room in this house. It is much smaller, so there is no extra room to do school, so to speak. And also because it's much smaller, I don't have room for all of my bookshelves, which hold all of my books. And I have a lot of books. I love books. I think they're so important, whether it's just to read for fun or to use them to learn. Nonetheless, I did not want to take over the house with books, so the majority are in the garage, but I can access them when I need to. We also take advantage of all of the great libraries in the area, so finding books is not a problem. And as you can see, I do have a bookshelf behind me. It is pretty much a floor to ceiling bookshelf. So in addition to being a full bookshelf, it is specific to Usborne books. So every book that you're going to find on that shelf and kind of in that area is Usborne, Kane Miller, because I am a consultant. And they have amazing books that have helped us for these past 7 years through our homeschooling journey. And I won't get into all of that right now, but they are great books. So that is kind of easy access in our main living space, and I'm sitting at our dining room table right now. So we do a lot of work here, and so the books are very easily accessible for the kids and for myself. And of course, they can always take a book, whether it's for pleasure reading or something that they're going to do, you know, actual learning with, and they know they can take it in the car, take it to their room, wherever. Point is, we have a bookshelf full of books, easy access. Now I'm going to take a few minutes and show you some other shelves that I have set up, as well as some of the specific things that I have done to kind of streamline and make things easy for myself as well as my children. Okay, so as you can see, I have another tall bookshelf, and I'm going to try to squeeze in and show you this. Again, it's just part of our living room, but it houses board games as well as all kinds of supplies. We've even have a telescope hidden in the back, and then this little goodie on top is a floor piano, believe it or not. But so at one time, these great little bins were labeled, but as you can see, it's worn off. But I take advantage of Dollar Tree a lot. I mean, you can't beat $1. So you will see a lot of wonderful little items that I use to store things in. And as you can see, we have all kinds of science stuff. So we've got microscopes, and we have inside is just basically everything you can think of for science experiments. These are some items that we got for bug collecting at a homeschool class we attended last fall. We've got bins full of pencils and bins full of crayons and colored pencils. We have a bin full of paint and paint supplies. This one is full of tape and glue and things like that. Here we have a pair of scissors, which we don't need because we have so many scissors, but this is staplers, erasers, calculators, kind of some miscellaneous items, and then more totes full of goodies, arts and crafts supplies, more pencils, just all kinds of things for fun, for arts and crafts, for making, for building, for learning. Here's another microscope, and then here are more painting supplies, arts and crafts supplies. There's clay in there, stencils, all kinds of things. So between crates and shelves and totes, I've done my best to organize and contain everything into one space. However, I homeschool 4 kids, and we've been doing this for a while, so let me rephrase that. I graduated my oldest. I'm only homeschooling 3 now. Point is, I have 4 kids. I've been doing this for a while. I seem to get more and more stuff every year. So as you can see, I have another bookshelf over here. And again, this is our main living space, so kind of between our living room and our dining room. But there's nothing wrong with having a map of the United States on the wall. And down here, obviously I could use another shelf as I have things on the floor, and I'd rather they weren't on the floor. But we have totes. Totes come in really handy, or bins, whatever you want to call them. These are great too, because they can just go in the car with us. So I take these little rings, I hole punch the flashcards, I put a ring through it, and this way we can take them in the car and they're not going to lose them. So we've got phonics and math and animals and space. We just, you name it, we've got flashcards galore, index cards, and then this is a lot of curriculum books. I'm not a big curriculum user per se. However, I have been given some books over the years, and I have purchased a few books, and when I find a use for them, then I certainly take advantage of that. Paper, lots and lots of paper, and at the top we have more supplies. So lots of colored pencils, just in case you don't want to go over to the tall bookshelf and get a packet out there. Scissors, remember I said we had lots of scissors. Never going to be a shortage in this house. And then at the beginning of the year, each kid picked out a little container to keep their own personal pens and pencils in. So while we have more than enough for everybody, it helps the kids if they know they have their own little cup to go and grab whatever it is that they want. And as you can see, we've got paper clips and big binder clips, highlighters, I mean really those dry erase markers, because we do have dry erase boards as well as workbooks, but just try to keep things as organized as possible to make it easy for myself and the kids. And then this is our little music tote. No, it's not a container of oatmeal, it was, but when my little one has a chance, he's going to turn it into a drum. So in here, musical instruments that we've purchased, as well as some homemade ones. And then as you can see, these are crates that I have turned into a shelf. And down here, more books. Not necessarily curriculum, but just books that I have collected that some, for instance, there's Treasure Island, Mouse and the Motorcycle. So some are just good reading books, and others are more specific to learning a particular subject, like Science Essentials. And then this shelf here, that's kind of my shelf. This is where I keep all of my paperwork for notification, assessments, all of that at the beginning and the end of each year. That is just a little portion of that shelf, but that's where I keep that sort of thing. This is kind of my resource shelf. So
anything that might pertain to a field trip, someplace that we might want to go, something that we might want to learn about, it's going to be in here. Or, for example, our Ohio passports are in here. The binders are kind of separated by subject, so I have lots of different science, math, language arts, foreign languages, you name it. If you can think of it, it's going to be in one of those binders depending on the subject. I even have sheet music in there. So that's kind of that. And then I also have my bins with letters and fractions, and I do have a video on just how I did that in case you are wondering what that's all about.
Okay, so as I said, there is a video that explains the letters and the fractions, and I will be posting another video soon that will include a few of the other ideas that I have used while homeschooling, as well as some of the items that I just feel like I couldn't live without. They're kind of a homeschool must-have. But that's it for now, so thanks for coming and checking out our little homeschool life, and feel free to leave a comment and let me know what homeschooling is like for you. Thanks.